The Thoroughbred is a magnificent animal, bred for speed, bred to compete, the sport of kings.
Wow, West Coast has it by 6.
It's the all-new Let's Go Racing from Parx Casino and Racetrack. It's action-packed and fun for the entire family.
3 of them are right together with 1 furlong to go.
Let's Go Racing is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. It's fun to see them run.
A very pleasant good morning, racing fans, and welcome here to Parx Racing for Let's Go Racing. This past weekend, of course, the 4th of July. As we waited for the fireworks in the evening, there were some fireworks on the racetrack, and we'll take a look at a lot of that over the next 30 minutes. Our national coverage brings you the Met Mile from Belmont Park. McKenzie try to come back after that disappointment in the same race last year. We'll see whether he could get it done for our man Bob Baffert. Our local race of the week will actually take us to Delaware Park, where we had some locals in the Grade 3 Delaware Oaks. We'll also have coverage of 3-year-olds in the Los Alamitos Derby, the Grade 1 Manhattan on the grass up at Belmont Park, and much more right here over the next 30 minutes on Let's Go Racing. Hi, everybody. Keith Jones. We're down on the first floor. And my man Dick Girardi right there, the man who knows it all. And Dick, we're here on this Tuesday morning, and just yesterday we welcomed fans back for the very first time since, back in March.
Yeah, now it's great that the fans are able to come back to the track, and I know they're like everybody else, they've been waiting, and it was neat to see them back here.
Now, Dick, yesterday's program was delayed by an hour. Yes, an hour as a storm blew through.
Yep.
And our buddies up at the TV department got some great looks at, look at the lightning strikes.
It was a little wild on Monday, no doubt.
Not sure I'd like to be out there on the racetrack with that around. And
No.
again, the stewards, every bit of caution, and kept him in there for about an hour, but they were just circling the paddock for a long, long time. Dick, as we mentioned, the live racing is back. We've seen racing around the country. The horse racing business, people are betting.
Well, there's been nothing to bet on,
Yes.
right? There's no sports. A lot of the casinos are just now starting to reopen, including here at Park. So, yeah, the horse racing has benefited in that way. Some of the racetracks, like Gulfstream Park and Oaklawn, never closed. The handle numbers have been astronomical because everybody's used to betting on their phone or on their laptop.
Right.
I mean, I've been doing it that way for years. It's the one sport that got grandfathered in, and horse racing's really had a pretty big year.
Yeah, Dick, as we wait for baseball and hockey and basketball and just to see how they play out without fans in the stands, on television, horse racing is a sport that absolutely translates without there really being fans there.
Yeah, no, it's the one game that you can run without fans because betting makes the whole thing happen. And another good news for the horsemen here, I was just told that Butch Reed told me this, that the slot machine handle in the casino has been great since they reopened.
There you go.
And of course, that's how the purses here are funded. So the guys, it shouldn't be too long before the purse level comes back to what it was before.
Well, Dick, you just mentioned Butch. Have a little segue as we go into our local coverage this week and go down to Delaware Oaks because Butchie was involved. We'll get to that in just a minute. 3-year-old fillies, the Grade 3 Delaware Oaks for $300,000. That's a nice pot. Number 2, Piece of My Heart, is the 9-5 choice for trainer McLean Robertson. And this filly has shown significant improvements since she turned to her 3-year-old season.
Right, she's won a couple in a row. Nice numbers, 85, 87. Not a graded stake. They're looking for something here. There wasn't like an outstanding favorite here, but they ended up coming up with Piece of My Heart.
Well, Dick, number 5, Hopeful Growth, is the second choice here for trainer Tony Margata. And for those players that like to look at the board, this filly opened up at 10-1 and went off at 2-1.
Yeah, no, she obviously the morning line got it incorrect in this circumstance because for people that don't know, the morning line is about predicting what the bettors will do, not what will happen.
Well, Dick, those 2 horses were taking some money.
Yes.
One of the horses that was not taking any money was number 6, Project Whiskey, 38-1. Quite simply, the longest price on the board for our man Butch Reed. She did win the Parx Juvenile Fillies last year as a 2-year-old, but Dick, her recent form on paper does not look very good.
It doesn't, and she was actually favored in the maiden race at Saratoga last summer. But yeah, her recent form is bad, and there is a reason for it, as we will find out when we talk to the trainer.
We will find out, but there's a reason we're talking about Project Whiskey.
Indeed.
Let's get the call of the Delaware Oaks.
And they're off in the Delaware Oaks, and the 8 Queen Bridget got away to a slow start there. She almost walked out of the gate there. She's already given the field about 8 or 9 lengths. Toward the inside, Piece of My Heart has some company from Long Point Beach. Up on the outside, Project Whiskey. Those 3 across the track into the first turn. We also have a trio behind. Comical toward the inside, followed by Hopeful Growth, and up there on the far outside, Dream Marie. Princess Katie's tucked in nicely behind that group, and far back, the Queen Bridget. who got a slow start and is already maybe 15 lengths behind the field as they make their way around the first turn. Opening quarter in a solid 23-1 as they reach the backstretch. Piece of My Heart showing the way by a half. Right there, Long Point Beach between horses. Up on the outside, Project Whiskey. They're still head to head as they make their way down the Delaware backstretch. Comical tucked in nicely in fourth. We'll get a perfect trip. Next in line, up on the outside is Dream Marie. Hopeful Growth looking for room between horses. Followed by Princess Katie and far back to Queen Bridget, who's been outrun so far every step of the way. Half in 47-1 as they race into the turn. Piece of My Heart still to catch with Joey Talamo by 3/4 of a length. Long Point Beach is still stalking in second as they make their way to the turn. Project Whiskey on the outside. Comical now shoots up through the rail. Dream Marie is going to make a move for Bravo quickly. Dream Marie makes the first move, and he's going after that leader as they make their way around the bend. Dream Marie on the outside. Between horses, Project Whiskey down toward the inside. Piece of My Heart. Princess Katie begins to kick it in from the back, followed by Hopeful Growth, and Comicals drop back a bit as they turn for home. It's wide open. Dream Marie, Project Whiskey bidding for an upset. It's those two as they square off there. Princess Katie's also gaining momentum on the outside. Furlong to go. Project Whiskey's digging in. Dream Marie and Bravo trying to go on by. These two have 2 lengths on Piece of My Heart and Princess Katie. It's down to these two. Project Whiskey, a game effort today. She may pull the upset. Project Whiskey edging away to upset in the Oaks.
Well, a tremendous upset victory in the Delaware Oaks. Our good friends Chuck Zachny, Glenn Bennett, and our man Butch Reed. Longest price on the board with Project Whiskey, winning it by a half length at 38-1. Pays $79.60 to win. And before we bring on Butch, let's take a look at his wife Ginny as he was riding down to Delaware Park in the van with Project Whiskey.
Here's me and Whiskey on the way to Delaware Park today to win the Oaks. Here we are. There she is. She said hi, Mama. Hi. We're on our way. We're going to get the money today.
Well, it's a pleasure to welcome in the winning trader Butch Reed. And Butch, it's great to see Project Whiskey getting those pep talks from your wife Ginny, and I'm sure you've had a few pep talks yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this has been Ginny's baby from the beginning. She had her up at Saratoga last year, and they've made quite a pair.
Butchie, you win as the longest price on the board in a graded stake race. When was the last time you won a race of this caliber as the longest price on the board?
Well, it may have been a couple. I've been fortunate they don't believe us too much in these big ones, I guess, because I won the Vanderbilt. He paid $80 besides Warrior, and my Breeders' Cup win was also an $80 horse. So, yeah, we've done good for the few people that supported us at the windows.
Butch, when I talked to you the day right after the race, you explained that you had bought 4 horses at that Timonium sale, October of 2018. Bella G, Johnny Ritt, Monday Morning QB, and Project Whiskey. $116,000. They've won more than $500,000. You knew that all the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. We weren't concerned about that at all. But no. I mean, we've been between Glenn and Chuck and I. We've had a good group down there going over the horses, and we've had a lot of luck out of that sale. So they were, moderately priced horses, and it really panned out for us.
I wrote about it on Let'sGoRacingParks.com this week, but you had told me, Butch, that you were not shocked that she ran that well because her 2 recent races, you kind of could put a line through it. Explain.
Yeah, exactly. After she won the stake here, I mean, we've been high on the filly all along, and then she ran a couple decent races at Saratoga, not quite what we were looking for, but she came down here, really liked the track here at Parks, won the stake here, and we were looking to step her up and stretch her out in distances because she had acted like that kind of filly. And then we ran her in the Maryland bred stake down there and just really gave us a flat effort. And the next day we found out why. She had a temperature of almost 103. She's a steady grinder, and I don't know if there's any limits to the distance she'll be able to go.
But you win a graded stake like this very early in the filly's career. Obviously, the expectations grow. So where do you go? What's her next spot? Where do you go with her now?
Well, we've got a few options. First, we're going to make sure we got our horse with us. So that was a tiring effort on her the other day. It was, we asked a lot of her. We shipped down to a notoriously deeper racetrack than the track we train here at Parks. I mean, Delaware's always a tough track to ship into, and she responded well, and it was the first time around 2 turns. So, though she came out of the race perfectly, she ate up everything last night and looks really happy. So there's a couple opportunities. I see the Monmouth Oaks in just about a month from now might fit very well, and it's another one with just a short ship, which I really appreciate. Don't have to ride. Only have to ride about 45 minutes on the van, which might give that race the edge at this point.
Yeah, Butchie, congratulations on a tremendous victory. We had a chance to see Project Whiskey on the trip down with Ginny. Well, now we get a chance to look at Project Whiskey when she was back at her barn, enjoying maybe a little bit of calories, a little bit of cookies. Here's more.
We're having some cookies this morning. My baby girl. She's resting. She's very smart girl. Come on, Mama. Here, have some more cookies. My baby girl. I love you. Mommy loves you. You know that? I love you. She's my girl, isn't she? She's my girl.
Well, Ginny giving the cookies to Project Whiskey. I hope she saved a few for you.
She actually feeds her better than me, but it don't look like I'm doing too bad. But no, Ginny has really gotten along. They've been a good pair, and they've been together for almost a year now, so they're doing very well.
Butch, again, congratulations. Let's get to our first break. We get back here on Let's Go Racing, our national coverage. We'll have that when we come back after this.
They begin the run around the far turn. It's still Vekoma. The lead's a half length.
Looking to join the thrill and excitement of thoroughbred racehorse ownership? Pewter Stable can get you started. With more than 25 years of experience under the leadership of Greg and Kate DeMasi, Pewter Stable is one of the industry's leaders in racing partnerships, winning hundreds of races and millions of dollars at racetracks all over the Mid-Atlantic, including New York. No markup, no management fees makes our partnerships unique and affordable. We are Pewter Stable.
Racehorses are pampered.
Treated with care and loved.
Nothing is more important than their health and their safety.
We do right by them,
And they do right by us.
the hard-working folks.
Who proudly earn our living.
In Pennsylvania's horse racing,
and breeding industries.
Horse racing is a lot of fun.
but it's so much more.
It provides tens of thousands of jobs.
Jobs and billions in economic impact each year.
All across the Commonwealth.
Horse racing in Pennsylvania. It's a winner.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. Time for our national coverage brought to you by Chapman Auto Group. Unless our emblem is on the back of your car or truck, you probably paid too much. The big race up at Belmont Park on July 4th weekend was the Met Mile, Dick, one of the most prestigious races of the summer.
Yeah, it's always something we look forward to, Keith. And in recent years, it's been on Belmont Stakes Day, but because they had so little time for everybody to get ready, they decided to spread those stakes out a little bit as we get ready for Saratoga.
$500,000 for that one-turn mile. Number 3, McKinsey is back 9-5. The price on McKinsey, of course, Bob Baffert. He's now a 5-year-old. Dick, in this race last year, a very close second behind the very tough Matoli and a very tough trip.
Yeah, a very unlucky second. Wherever Mike Smith tried to go, there was something blocking him. He could never quite get free with a horse until right at the end. And if McKinsey wins this, Keith, he'll be that rare horse who wins a Grade 1 at 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Second choice here, number 2, Vekoma for trainer George Weaver, coming off a huge effort on the slop to win the Grade 1 Carter Handicap. Now, Dick, Vekoma was a very highly regarded 3-year-old, sat out after the Kentucky Derby and has come back in his 4-year-old season and has just been phenomenal so far.
This is the hot horse. It looks like he potentially could be inside speed here, depending on how they want to run him. And he's very similar to By My Standards. You remember, just got eliminated in the Derby at the beginning, has come back and have a great 4-year-old year. Very similar to what happened to Vekoma in the Derby last year.
He was 3-1 till late and took some money, went down to 9-5. Here's the call of the Grade 1 Met Mile.
They begin the run around the far turn. It's still Vekoma. The lead's a half length, and the half mile went in 45 4/5 seconds. Warrior's Charge races in second. Endorsed is in between horses. McKinsey is on the outside. Then it's Network Effect just in behind horses, running in 5th. Code of Honor has drawn within 3.5 lengths of the lead. Then it's Mr. Freeze and Hog Creek Hustle as they come for the top of the stretch in the Run Happy Met Mile. Vekoma narrowly, Warrior's Charge in behind his Network Effect. McKinsey's on the outside with Endorsed, and out in the middle of the track, it is Code of Honor. They're coming down for the 16th pole, and here comes Code of Honor on the outside. Vekoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Vekoma who's going to win the Run Happy Met Mile.
Well, Dick, Vekoma, as you mentioned, came in as the hot horse, maybe that inside speed. He was the inside speed. When they turned for home, it kind of looked like they might just be ready to gobble him up. But you know what? He had another gear. He ended up kind of edging away, won by a length and a quarter, pays $5.90 to win. He's now 3 for 3 in his 4-year-old season with back-to-back Grade 1 wins.
Yeah, I think George Weaver's now trying to figure out, do they want him now to go some of those big 2-turn races, or do they want to keep him shorter? I mean, he won the Bluegrass as a 3-year-old.
Yes.
It's not like he hasn't won 2 turns, and his speed certainly makes him dangerous. Keith, the time was 1:32.88, but the track was super fast. I mean, the times were just crazy fast. It's 104 Beyer, but look, he's been as good as anybody so far in 2020.
Another thing that's unique about it, he has that kind of funny stride.
He does. Yeah, it's very weird. And congratulations to our buddy Marshall Graham. Warriors charged for 10 strike. I thought ran great without the lead. They like to be with the lead. They couldn't outrun Vekoma. Hung in nicely for 4th at the finish.
Dick, the big turf race on the Belmont program was the Grade 1 Manhattan, a mile and a quarter for a purse of $400,000. Of course, it's all about Chad Brown. He saddles the top 2 choices. Number 2, Rock Emperor, gets a little bit more money here at 2-1. He just missed, and I mean just missed, last time out at Santa Anita against the very tough United.
And then he got DQ'd after the fact. But yeah, no, ran a really, really good race. And this horse is interesting, Keith. He hasn't won yet for Chad, but it's not like he hasn't run well.
Second choice, number 1, Instilled Regard, also Chad Brown here. 2-1 is also the price. Now, Dick, as you go back through his lines, when Chad got a hold of him, he turned him into a turf horse. He's become a terrific turf horse. He's a multiple graded winner. But back in the Kentucky Derby at 80-something to 1, he finished 4th. He ran pretty good.
Yeah, that's when Jerry Hollendorfer had him way back when. He ran 4th behind Justify. Yeah, if you were a superfecta player, that was a horse you liked for 4th at 85 to 1.
Well, here's the call of the Grade 1 Manhattan.
Cross border by a length. Channel Maker runs in 2nd. Rock Emperor in 3rd, just a length and a half from front running Cross Border. Then it's Dot Matrix and Instilled Regard. They're heads apart 4th and 5th. Spooky Channel is next in 6th. It's 3 lengths to the 2 trailers, Devamani and Sadler's Joy. And they move up the backstretch. Cross Border setting the pace here. Ran the opening half in 50 and 2/5 seconds. Channel Maker not far behind in 2nd, with Rock Emperor just off the front 2 in 3rd. Dot Matrix is next in 4th. Then it's Instilled Regard in 5th. Down on the inside, Devamani is now moving up alongside Spooky Channel. And Sadler's Joy continues to trail in 8th. 3/4, 1:15 and 4. It is Cross Border. Channel Maker begins to pick it up now on the outside. Rock Emperor has had a good trip in behind those front 2. Right alongside is Dot Matrix in 4th. And then comes Spooky Channel. Sadler's Joy is getting into gear, but will be widest of all as the field hits the top of the stretch. It's Cross Border and Channel Maker. Their heads apart. Rock Emperor is in 3rd. Devamani is in behind the front runners. On the far outside, it is Sadler's Joy as they pass the 8th pole. Here comes Rock Emperor up to challenge Channel Maker. Sadler's Joy is there, and Instilled Regard is putting in a late run. They come for the wire. Instilled Regard got there.
Well, Dick, Chad Brown finishes 1-2, of course, in the Manhattan. Dick, another terrific ride here by Irad Ortiz. Somehow is patient enough to wait to find a seam and comes charging through late to get up to win it by a neck. $6.30 to win. Another tough beat for Rock Emperor. But Dick, Instilled Regard has become a really, really terrific turf horse.
Yeah, I didn't even see the horse till the end. I mean, it just was that late burst. And Irad has been hot for 3 years now. I mean, he's won 160 races already this year. Just amazing. And look, he's a guy you want. And when you can have him and Chad together, even better.
He's calm, he's cool, he's collected, and he makes a lot of great decisions. Let's get out to Los Alamitos for the Los Al Derby. 3-year-olds at a mile and an eighth for $1.50. Of course, it's all Bob Baffert here. We started with 5, we end up with 4. Now, number 4, Uncle Chuck is the 2-5 favorite for our man Bob. He's the son of Uncle Mo, and Dick, he won his debut in style.
In style, indeed, Keith, and a 95 buyer, and as some of the Baffert horses that we thought would be in the Derby, like Ladal and Charlatan, sort of go off the screen. Here comes the next troops. They're back, and Uncle Chuck, a big player for the Derby if he can win here.
Well, Bob also, of course, has the second choice here. It's number 3,000 Words. He's 9-5. He won the Robert Lewis. But Dick, he has been off form in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, 1,000 Words was the hot horse last year. He won the Los Al Futurity at this track, and you're thinking he's going to be the one. But as Keith pointed out, he just hasn't had that same punch in his races this year.
2-5 on Uncle Chuck in just his second career start. Here's the call.
Great Power by 1 length. The rail is open for Cosmo. The maiden making his dirt debut. Uncle Chuck in the clear. Luis Saez observing the scene from a prime position going to the half-mile pole. And 1,000 Words back 2.5 lengths last of all. Easy front running roll for Great Power. Great Power by 3/4 of a length. Now Uncle Chuck ups the ante. Does he what? In the twinkling of an eye, he gets on terms. 3/8 to go, coming around the far turn, and Uncle Chuck putting the nostrils in front of Great Power. 1,000 Words latching onto the back of Uncle Chuck. And then comes Cosmo, and it's a bunched unit turning for home in the Los Alamitos Derby. It's Uncle Chuck, 1,000 Words throwing out a challenge. Great Power back to third. Cosmo battles on. They have 3/16 left to go, and it's Uncle Chuck by 1 length. 1,000 Words is trying hard to get on terms, but Uncle Chuck has the lead.
Well, it's all Uncle Chuck. Dick now 2 for 2. The grade 3 win, Los Alamitos Derby, $2.80 to win. Wins by 4. Another son of that Uncle Mo.
Yeah, it's interesting that Luis Saez rode him. You don't usually see him riding for Baffert. Mike Smith was back east riding McKenzie, and Luis, I believe, was out there to work Maximum Security that morning, who, by the way, his first couple works weren't good at all. He's coming fast now, and he's going to run in a couple weeks. First time Baffert for Maximum Security. But Uncle Chuck, a 94, another player. He'll have to find a points race to get him into the Derby. Maybe the Shared Belief at Del Mar, or possibly the Travers against the Belmont Stakes winner, Tiz the Law. To be determined on that.
Okay, well, let's get to our next break. We come back here on Let's Go Racing, our jockey and trainer of the week. I wonder who that might be. And race recap after this.
The Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association is the advocate for Parx Racing's horsemen and has worked hard to secure better lives for the hundreds of trainers and their families that work in the thoroughbred racing industry. Our horsemen benefit from medical coverage, trainer pension plans, and increased purses. Thanks to these horsemen, racing at Parx is the very best, providing entertainment for you and the entire family. The Pennsylvania Horsemen are proud to be part of the community and introduce a new generation of fans to the sport of kings.
He's a winner. He's a champion. He's an icon. He's a legend. And now he's back in Pennsylvania. Smarty Jones, Kentucky Derby winner, Preakness Stakes winner, standing at Equistar in Annville, Pennsylvania. The quintessential Pennsylvania bred has returned. Smarty Jones is back home. Please call Rodney Eckenrode or visit EquistarTrainingAndBreeding.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parx Racing for Let's Go Racing. Time to give out the awards this week. Our Jockey and Trainer of the Week brought to you by the Turning for Home program. Log on to their website at turningforhome.org. Take that upset victory of the Delaware Oaks. Got to give it to our man Frankie Pennington. Another terrific ride. And Butch Reed doing not only a great job of getting his horse ready, but believing in his filly that she was up to the task of facing that grade 3 company.
Yeah, no question. And I thought Frankie's ride was brilliant because he got that great position, Keith, and I think he wanted to wait on the turn. He thought he had the front runner, but when Joe Bravo brought his filly up, he couldn't wait. You can't get past there. You don't want to lose position. Frankie went, and then the filly was pulling away at the finish. And Frankie's basically undefeated with that horse. The only time she lost was the day she was sick.
Well, let's get to race recap. Race recap brought by the great folks that run Pewter Stable. Log on to their website at pewterstable.com and become an owner and enjoy the sport today. Let's get up to Belmont Park for the grade 3 victory ride. The fillies and mares at 6.5 furlongs for $100,000. Dick number 1, Frank's Rocket, gets bet down to 2 to 5 for trainer Billy Mott. And Dick, she is absolutely fully extended to hold off a long shot here.
Yeah, she really is. I saw her last year in the Spinaway when Julian Leparoux gave her just a horrible ride and got her beaten. She hadn't lost much since then. And yeah, she is fully extended here, Keith. And it's interesting. The race that the Delaware Oaks winner was in last time was the race against Frank's Rocket at Churchill. So she was some good company, 1 to 2 with Frank's Rocket.
Yeah, she does hold on, wins, pays $2.80 to win. Also, Belmont, the grade 3 poker. It's a 1 mile turf race for $150,000. Number 9 value proposition is the 5 to 2 choice for who else but Chad Brown. But Dick, Todd Pletcher has a good-looking miler in Social Paranoia.
Yeah, and this is going to be the last move wins. It looks like a couple times during the race, different horses are going to get there, but Social Paranoia, the 5 on the outside, is going to win. Seismic Wave up for second. They came from 7th and 8th early in the race.
Social Paranoia pays $11.80 to win, and Dick Gott Stormy was in here again, and she is just not the same kind of racehorse she was last year.
She is not.
And let's take a look at the grade 1 Suburban, mile and a quarter over the grade 2 Suburban, mile and a quarter for $200,000. Number 1 Tacitus bet down to even money. blinkers on today. Dick, hard to believe that Tacitus has not won since the Wood Memorial last year, but finds a field he can handle today.
Right, Bennett was the beaten favorite in the Belmont Stakes, was the beaten favorite in the Jim Dandy, and then the Travers, and had some really hard luck along the way.
Yep.
No problem with this field. Blows the field away, gets 100, and our man Kendrick Carmouche almost holds on for second with 57-1 parsimony.
That would have been a nice exacta, but Tacitus pays $4.20 to win. Dick, Eye on Racing. I got ahead of myself last week. I talked about Saratoga. Saratoga starts next week.
Right.
We have another weekend at Belmont Park, but the big weekend is at Keeneland.
It is at Keeneland. They're running the Bluegrass Stakes and a lot of their big stakes in their 5-day meeting. And also the Delaware Handicap is today. Lucky move for 10 Strike and Carlos Guerrero, who upset the Obeah at 42-1. They just don't believe in these Parks guys down at Delaware Park. She'll be back. She won't be 42-1, but it'll be a very tough field, including, I think, Dunbar Road for Chad Brown.
There you go. Mile and a quarter, and of course the Del Cap. And Dick, let's get to our final break news and notes. Wrap it up after this.
Turning for Home is a nonprofit that has provided nearly 2,800 former racehorses with a safe retirement. The program was created through the foresight of the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association.
We all love animals, and to give back to something that helps us so much, it's a great thing.
Responding to the need for a better system that addressed the uncertain future for the retiring equine population at Parks Racing, the PTHA rallied horsemen to support the program.
These horses can do anything from hunter jumpers to western to therapeutic riding.
Turning for Home became the first on-track retirement program at a year-round racetrack.
We want to make sure that our horses that have run so well for us over the years get the great opportunity to get a new vocation.
Out of everything that we've done in Pennsylvania for racing, I think that's the thing we can be most proud of.
If you would like to help these amazing animals find a great second career and forever home, please give us a call or contact us at turningforhome.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. Final segment news and notes is brought to you by the Grandy Fund. Get involved and help that continued education for those folks on the backstretch, and do it with the Grandy Fund. He's Bruce Casella, Dick Girardi, Keith Jones. Now, Dick, we have some news, sort of, about the Pennsylvania and the Cotillion. Tell us what you found out from our man Dave-O.
Yeah, I texted Dave-O a couple days ago, Keith, and so now he started telling me maybe in a week or so that we'll decide about the Cotillion and the PA Derby. No decision has been made yet. Of course, as we talked about, they're just a very dates problematic situation. Right. Where it usually goes is in between the Derby and the Preakness. I think management, everybody's just trying to figure out, will it work for 2020 or not?
And this won't affect the graded stakes.
No, you can take a year off, and I think anybody would understand if you had to take a year off, this would be the year we have to do it.
Dick, you just mentioned a short time ago, maximum security in going to be out at Del Mar. And he said he didn't work too well at the beginning, but things starting to heat up.
Yeah, he's looking like a Baffert workhorse now, where they finish and have that great gallop out. He'll run into San Diego a week from today at Del Mar.
We are looking forward to that. Don't forget, come out. They can enjoy. As we talked about at the top of the show, you can enjoy live racing now. Fans are back. Come out and enjoy it right here at Parks, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 12:55. And we will see you next week on Let's Go Racing.